Another look at some of my junk. In a previous video I mentioned that I got an MT0 hand reamer, and the reason for that was because I have got some micro lathes and I want to clean out the headstock and tailstock holes so that they will better take centres, etc. And I have a couple of an arbor and a centre, which it's truncated. Sorry, the lathes have truncated MT0, and the part they use is the narrow part. So if you've got a longer taper, then what happens is you've got a lot of the tool or the centre hanging outside of the support, and I don't like a lot of overhang. So I want that to be right, and I've got some blanks, and I was going to try and turn a taper for that, and if the hole's correct and I set the taper turning to turn a taper, then at least I can check that I've done it correctly by bluing up the material and putting it into the hole, but I can't do that when the hole's a mess. Now what I need is a handle to hold onto the end of the reamer. So rooted about in the garage until I found these. This is a Halford's. It says Halford's quality tool. It's a Halford's tool. I don't know where anyway, say quality. The reason I say that is I bought this. This is it says, as it says there, 39-piece tap and die set. Don't bother buying it. If you bought it already. It does have quite a good range. It looks attractive, the price looks attractive, but it isn't a quality tool. It does say it should work with mild steel and aluminium and other soft metals, and you need to use lubricant. It will just about tap a hole. It's be adequate for brass, and perfectly adequate for aluminium. So for brass and aluminium, not a problem. So remember, it's for that. Mild steel, you are pushing it a bit, and it does have UNC and metric sizes, so it did have a good range of sizes. But yes, with aluminium you're all right, aren't you? On that. It does say then for aluminium and copper, use turpentine as the cutting fluid. So that's quite useful in terms of information it gives you on the back as to what to use. And if I open it, then I do find that it has. Does that show that it has a? And so I need a handle to hold the tap with. Now on the picture, it shows that device there. I don't think it shows this one, because this isn't one that came with the Halford set. Now, one of the problems is, I think that's a little bit too long for what I want to use. The other thing is, with a set like this, it doesn't grip very well at all. So if you're trying to grip a tap or a reamer in there, it's very wobbly and slack in the hole anyway. Both ends are threaded in, and it's not easy to get a good tight grip on your tap. Really isn't. You know, you put it in there, you tighten it up, and you know, tighten it up as tight as you want, and it does work loose. It keeps working loose all the time. It's also not very square to the handle. Not quite square to the handle. Don't know if that matters that much. Anyway, you know, just things to watch out for. You pay your money to. Oh yes, that's where the screwdriver went. So what I've done is, in the set I've put a handle from something else. I did, as I was rooting around in my drawer, find this handle. It's not an adjustable one. It's just a hole drilled into a handle with a square part in the middle. oops, something happened to the light. And this can be used to open taps. By that I mean water taps. It's just not quite the right size for this, but one answer might be just to file that a little, just to increase the clearance, and if that goes into there nicely, that solves my problem for my hand reamers, and everything is going to be all right. It's within, it's almost there in terms of going on to that. I don't think this is big enough. No, it's not even worth trying, so that's not big enough. I'll leave it in there in the screwdriver slot, and I won't be attempting to use that one. What else did I find? Well, I found some things in a tin. 2.5mm drill and 3mm tap and 30 grub screws. So drill, tap and grub screws for a particular size. That's very useful. And this is the Allen key for tightening the grub screws. Is it hex? It's difficult to see, isn't it? So you've got a couple of Allen keys, a set of grub screws, the drill and the tap for doing that, which is useful. And the tapping oil is included. Another cheap set. There, the blank piece to hold the taps is in there, and then you've got the three dies there, and 3 taps. And if I look at the tap carefully, it's 5/16. What thread pattern is it? I'm trying to see what thread pattern it is. A quarter W20, Japan. Okay, so W probably suggests it's Whitworth. Yep, that one is 3/8 W. Yep, and that one's 5/16. So looks like it's Whitworth thread. And yes, those taps are quite coarse. So Whitworth. Single cut on that. I think on the metric ones a single cut. So you, in a complete proper set of taps and dies, you get first and second cut, or second and third cut, or whatever it was. You'd certainly get more than one. So that's that one. And just to finish off with, while hunting around this wooden box, it does say micrometer, more and right. And there we have something. More and right micrometer. Nice little bit of information about how to adjust the tension on the thing. It's been quite well used, hasn't it? Look at that. Look how well that anvil is worn there. And if you look at the way it's worn, you can see where the thumb and fingers have been. Sorry, you can see where the thumb and fingers have been on this anvil. Limited range. So it's not going to close down to 0 with this micrometer in there. So it's going to measure a certain range, isn't it? That's 2 to 3 inches. So it looks like its smallest is 2 inches and its largest is 3 inches. So that's a 2 to 3 inch micrometer on that one. And then, who knows what these are? Little handles bashed about at the end for reaching in and scraping something out of something. A couple of nipples. Is that knurled? It's knurled on the outside, it's not threaded. Oh yes, it's threaded on the threaded in there, so that will drive into something. And then another one and this one is the anvil on this one. It's a Starrett and Company, so it's an American one. It's number 2. It's got some conversions from well, it's got some conversions stamped into the anvil, and this looks like a 1 to 2 inch. Well, no, maybe even more than 1. What does it say on it? Does it say anywhere? I could measure it, couldn't I? Ambrose Shadlow and Company, Ealing Works, Sheffield, British micrometers. And on the back of that you've got a conversion chart. So from thou to fractions. So fractional inches to thou, as far as I can see there. And instructions, little instruction book there. Slocum micrometers, read carefully. And then some tags here. Blank paper tags. So there we are, a couple of micrometers in a box, not for the sizes that we're dealing with, that's for larger sizes. So I know I've got a 2 to 3 inch micrometer. I do have a 0 to 1 inch micrometer somewhere as well, so it's not like I don't have one. And digital verniers are quite good. Last, just unearthed this cardboard box. It says Tunbo something. Well, it says quite a number of things in it, and what we have in it are some boring bars, but boring bars that look as though they're about the right size for the lathes, the micro lathes I've got, and I've had these from well before I got the micro lathes. Look at that neat little piece of boring bar. A couple of different diameter shafts. I don't know that I haven't, but not that I know of, have a boring bar holder for anything that size. I've certainly got the larger boring bar holders for the larger lathes, but there we are. That's something. A few little boring bars in a box there from somebody. Precision something at Mitcham. Geo somebody. Hardly matters, does it? And a picture of a milling machine on the sellotape that's wrapped around it. There we are. A bit more of the junk from the shed. And I think if I'm looking at that, the tap and die sets I've got are not ones that I would think, oh, those are valuable. But they might work on some of the softer materials I use.